Excellency. Your Excellency.
Hi.
Very well. How are you, my brother?
I'm okay.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Always good to see you.
Thank you.
Always good to see you. Are you well?
I'm well. I'm well.
Good to see you.
There's a friend outside. No, not Abuja. I came from France.
Oh, you came from France.
Yes.
That's a
11
brother.
hours.
11 hours. That's a long trip. That's a long, long trip. They want to take their pound of flesh. I'm sure they want us to be seated.
So that was called when he landed, very, very early in the morning. Then they went into a press briefing where Ramaphosa had this to say. Please listen carefully. Thank you very much, Fred Agbe. I hope I pronounce that right. Fred Agbe. There's no sign on it. Okay, so bear with me. But thank you very much for your super chats. Is Windy City watching? I've actually missed you. How you doing, sir? The Windy City. Let's listen to Ramaphosa and then Tinubu.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me, Your Excellency, to express my deep sense of welcome to you and your esteemed delegation to our country, South Africa. As we gather here on the occasion of the 11th session of our Binational Commission, we affirm once again our close bonds of friendship as well as solidarity, a friendship that has existed between our two countries for a very long time. We are two countries united in purpose and vision. We will remain forever grateful as South Africa to Nigeria for its leading role in the international campaign against apartheid tyranny in South Africa. As we mark 30 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations between Nigeria and South Africa, we see a bright future for our relationship. Our strong bonds of friendship provide a firm foundation for our two countries for more meaningful economic cooperation. Nigeria is a host to a number of South African companies that operate in Nigeria. South Africa has always been open for Nigerian businesses, and this has been reflected in a number of investment and operations established in this country as well. But there is much more that we need to do in this regard. We need to remove the remaining constraints to greater investment, just as we need to address some of the challenges that companies experience. We are encouraged by the actions that are being taken under your leadership, Your Excellency, to further strengthen and foster business environment in Nigeria that offers assurances to investors, including from South Africa. Our government continues with its efforts to improve the ease of doing business in South Africa. We want to enable investors to promote and operate their businesses in a manner that will enable them to pursue various opportunities in various sectors of the economy. We look forward to seeing more Nigerian companies investing in South Africa. In fact, we want to see Nigerian products on the shelves of South African shops. Our efforts to create a favorable environment include our simplified visa process for Nigerian business people to travel to South Africa. Qualifying Nigerian business people can be granted a 5-year multiple entry visa. In addition, tourists from Nigeria are now able to apply for a visa without even submitting a passport. We expect that this 11th session of our Binational Commission will enable us to consolidate cooperation in a number of other areas. And we need to implement the many decisions that have already been taken between our two countries to follow up progress that has been achieved. Nigeria is South Africa's largest trading partner in West Africa. However, there is much more opportunity that is there for growth. The African Continental Free Trade Area will allow our two countries to trade in a more seamless manner across a variety of products. And this is the time for us to seize the opportunity to begin robust trading between Nigeria and South Africa. So our two countries are important countries in various respects in our regions on the African continent. We are also important in terms of our voice in the international arena as Nigeria and South Africa. As responsible members of the community of nations, we ought to be
on and on like that. So if you are a tourist from Nigeria who is willing to go to South Africa to spend money, you can apply for their visa. According to Ramaphosa now, you can apply for their visa even without passport. That is a bit shady. You need a passport to apply for a visa, because that's where they are going to put your visa on, I think. For business people, theirs is like a 5 years multiple entry, which means if you're bringing your money to South Africa as well. The South Africa's biggest exports is MTN, which is one of the top taxpayers or tax-paying businesses in Nigeria. MTN. So in this regard, the meeting could really be a plus of an entry into South African market by the Nigerian businesses. Well, Nigeria need investors in Nigeria, okay? So South Africa tapping into, anyway, it is called Binational Commission. It's been there, for a while. And the Ramaphosa needed something to also kind of like savor the way he's doing. He said more, and you heard him clearly, right? I would possibly want to share. Okay, let's hear the rest before Tinubu.
Concern about the future of our global system of governance. In an increasingly volatile environment globally, we are witnessing the erosion of the principles that underpin the peaceful conduct of relations amongst nations with respect to law and order and the development of our societies. Multilateralism is under threat. The rise of impunity, unilateralism, conflict and war highlights the urgent need for the reform of the United Nations Security Council and other global institutions. The Global South needs to lead efforts to achieve an international system that is fair, that is inclusive, and a system that in the end reflects what will advance the interests of people around the world. We commend your work as chair of ECOWAS to promote dialogue, mediation, and conflict resolution in the pursuit of peace. We applaud Nigeria's unwavering support to regional and continental unity. Our regional body, the Southern African Development Community, SADC, has been working to address challenges in our own neighborhood. We are seized with situations in the eastern DRC and the post-elections developments in Mozambique. There is agreement that these challenges will be resolved through peaceful means. We are witnessing progress in the consolidation of democracy on our continent. This year alone, 19 major elections would have taken place in African countries. That in itself represents tremendous progress. It is important that regional and African Union instruments underpinning elections and governance are promoted and strengthened. South Africa has just assumed, as you well know, Your Excellency, the presidency of the G20. It will be the very first time that G20 members, leaders, will be holding their summit for the first time on African soil. We will place Africa's development, as well as the challenges facing countries of the Global South, firmly on the agenda of the G20. We will seek to galvanize support for the AU's Agenda 2063 as we pursue an inclusive global agenda as well. For South Africa, it is our view that in shaping global discourse.
Like I said, they said a lot, but from the other reports, they said that Tinubu was in South Africa to seek South Africa's support for Nigeria to become a member of BRIC. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and then South Africa, BRICS. The same BRICS that is about to launch their own currency, their own bank, in a defiance of the Americans' dominance, sanctions, and the dollar. So Donald Trump tweeted something. Was it a tweet? He tweeted something about 2-3 days ago, where he actually threatened countries that were joining BRICS, and they were planning to drop dollar as their exchange or currency of trade. How many of you saw that? So from what we heard, Tinubu went there as well to seek the support of South Africa in joining BRICS, since the Democrats won't be in charge for the next 4 years. And from those who know, in the know, they believe that the asshole rock is somehow a little bit skeptical of how the Trump presidency is going to treat Tinubu. Just the way they felt like, the way he treated Bokwari, even though he sold Tucano fighter jet to Bokwari with conditions. The conditions that Joe Biden completely ignored or even lifted. The condition was that the Tucano jet that were being sold to Bokwari must not be used in eastern part of Nigeria. Specifically, it must not be used in eastern part of Nigeria. But they've used it 3 times already in eastern part of Nigeria. They've dropped bombs in some communities in places like, Imo State, in violation of the agreement that Donald Trump actually agreed to before giving them the Tucano jets. Anyway, the Tinubu's regime is believed that they are a little bit skeptical. They've not really been able, as much as so many other countries have been sending representatives to meet with Trump, transition their team and all of that. They said that Tinubu's gang have not really been given any sort of a welcoming, gesture. So if America is going to be a little bit hostile to them, or if Trump is going to be hostile to them, they better just team up with the other countries that are already saying they are done with America. This is a report that is pretty much meant to be in between them. And also, the same Tinubu is also alleged to be in South Africa to seek the support of South Africa in, possibly pushing a Nigerian, to be part of the leadership of the G20. Because Nigeria is actually part of the G20, right? As a non-committer member, I think. So they want to be part of the leadership. What did Tinubu tell Ramaphosa? Again, I have to warn you, so that you are not going to think that you want to listen to somebody who is saying, oh, now Tinubu you want to listen to now. So don't raise your hope. In fact, don't try to want to help him to complete his sentence. You may lose some brain cells. I am warning you ahead. So, but a quick one, Tinubu.
Your Excellency, once again, thank you for the very warm hospitality you accorded us, and thank the members of the delegation for a sound and deep concern for result on the National Commission. The communique is well accepted, and I, for one, I look forward to the implementation. It's one thing to have a paper, it's another thing to implement successfully and get the results desired. We hold our continent in high esteem, and we owe the success of this to humanity as a whole. For us in Nigeria, we are grateful for the support that we have received throughout our democratic journey, as I mentioned earlier on. And the resolution and the communique reached here today is very well acceptable to us. I look forward to continue working with you, particularly in the reform on the United Nations Committee for Membership and various other medium of engagement that we might be mutually beneficial to the two countries. We, as members of the same family, joined by the hips as co-joined twins in the continent, we have no reason to fail or let down our people. And we have resolved never to do that. We're ready to work with you, Cyril, in any phase that you might consider necessary. We have to deepen as our members have emphasized, deepen the trade and opportunity to develop our youths, exchange ideas, promote relationship that is mutually beneficial to the two foes. The challenge is for us as leaders to continue to implement with good governance the principle of democracy, freedom, and liberty throughout the world. Our sovereignty must be protected, and we will continue to do that with you. I once again appreciate the opportunities extended to many Nigerians here in South African Republic, and I assure you that you will continue to, the continent will continue to enjoy our cordial relationship. Thank you for your concern on the ECOWAS, particularly 3 countries that are in disagreement with the leadership of ECOWAS, of which I am the chairman. But no matter how well you slice this, democracy is the core of this matter. And there's no other means of governance that is better and valued as much as democracy. You've been through the twist and turn of democracy here in South Africa. You've seen and experienced how tough it is. But you navigated through it. I congratulate all of you. For me, I've been caught and intimidated and detained for the principle of what I believe in. But today, I carry the touch of that freedom, value, strong determination, and commitment to principle of justice, of fairness. And I'm grateful I'm here as the president of my country. With you and I working together, I believe we can defeat and tame the turbulence around us. And we will. I promise. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I beg you, does anybody have the record of when Tinubu was arrested, beaten, or detained by any regime in Nigeria? Raise up your hands. I know I can't see your hands. Do you have any record of that? When the likes of Tinubu says they fought for democracy, and right now they are practicing tyranny, dictatorship. I beg, do you have any record where Tinubu was ever arrested or detained by any regime in Nigeria history since Tinubu has been playing his hide and seek, heroin-funded activism? Does anybody have any? Because I don't. Tinubu said he ran away from Nigeria because Abacha wanted to kill him. But what he didn't tell you was that he was one of the Abacha's henchmen. While he was with Abiola, he was also working for the same Abacha. There is a record of that. And when he moved to London, claiming that it was Abacha wanted to kill him for betraying Abacha or Abiola, he lived in London. It was Dele Momodu that housed him in London. And Dele knows him very well. There was never a time that any regime, Tinubu ran away. He claimed that Abacha wanted to kill him. There are many like that who claim same. Abi, is my history, memory of history rusty? No, it's not. So he says he carries the torch of democracy. And that is a tyrant